Hello, and welcome to another scene for the Living World of Darkness Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition venue set in the Kingdom of Apples, New York City. Today's scene takes place at Carnegie Hall, the famous Carnegie Hall. How do you get there? Practice. Located in Manhattan. The show tonight, Sleeping Beauty, and featuring the debut of Lyra as prima ballerina. I cannot remember her last name. Lyra Noel. So we will start by focusing on the human Lyra Noel, preparing backstage for what is to be her debut as the star of the show.
Okay. Lyra is doing her warming ups. She's tucking her hair back in like a bun. She's putting like shit ton of makeup because you have to compensate for those stage lights. So from up close, she kind of looks like a very well, you know, I'm not gonna say the word because I know that I just read a post where Lindsay said that she didn't want to be reminded of them, but now you all know what I mean. So from up close, she looks rather weird, but she knows that underneath the stage lights, it will look fine, pretty even. And yeah, she's just she has her headset in, is kind of humming to the music to calm her nerves about this. Pretending that this is all very average. This is as it should be, to consider that this is a hobby, especially.
Backstage, perhaps to wish his sister luck or give her words of encouragement, her twin brother, Timothy Noel.
Yes.
Also human.
Also human. Will totally remain so. Yeah, Timothy.
Of course.
Just kind of fairly casually approaches his twin sister. He's kind of holding his kind of he's folded his jacket up and is kind of holding of one of his arms. Or it's just kind of folded over his arm. And just taps Lyra on the shoulder.
She'll look up, gets her headset off, and smiles. Oh, Tim, it's good to see you here.
Hey, I just wanted to wish you luck. Not that you'll be
Thank
needing
you.
it.
Of course not. I didn't know that your agenda allowed for you to be present, but now that I see you here, actually, could we check schedules for tomorrow real quick? Because I believe we have a 2 p.m. appointment with Dad to lunch, but I also have a 3 p.m. appointment at the university. Could you give me an exit?
One moment. He takes out a folded piece of paper, unfolds it. It's well, from his jacket, it unfolds it. It's a rota for well, for himself. So wait, you wanted to skip out 2 p.m. or 3 p.m.?
I want to skip out at 2:30 so that I've had just enough time to tell Dad I love him and have an entree, and then be able to still make it to my 3 p.m. appointment.
Timothy has that look on his face. It's the sarcastic Alfred face. Um, Well, Miss Princess, I'm sure I can fit you in. It's not as if I am completely stacked for the day.
She will blow him a kiss. Thank you so much, kind brother of mine. It'll totally balance us out because I did save you from that gruesome date 2 days ago.
It wasn't gruesome.
I mean, did you see that mole?
As you guys are having this conversation, the choreographer comes back, and she sees Timothy, who is not one of her dancers, and shoo, 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 shoo. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Good luck, Lyra, and I'll sort you out, but you owe me a favor.
Fine, fine, fine.
Go on, little Miss Perfect.
Camera pan to the lobby of Carnegie Hall, where those who have bought tickets are waiting for the lights to show that it's time that they're permitted to filter in and take their seats.
Charles, of course, has had purchased his tickets like a few weeks early for this particular show. Something of a little bit of a old habits. Him having digging through Charles's old memories, brought up memories of interesting experiences of going to see performances and plays, and he had taken Amber several months ago to go see an opera. But something now with his new change of perspective is getting him to trying to at least try to understand maybe a little more of these feelings of why one would want to go to one of these sort of performances, the feelings associated with them. So he's going in, not really bringing a date or anything along those lines, just himself.
Fancy seeing you here, Charles.
William Black. How are you doing this evening? It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Matrix?
Still haven't gotten around to it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, these problem nights.
Hard to really focus on any one thing at any given time. It's honestly been the furthest from my mind.
Remember I told you the blonde singer was the one who left the bar with the woman. She swore to Sam that she is innocent. And the oath remains. He says these things like, as it's like, haha, he swore that she's innocent.
Yeah.
And like he is making sure that nobody's like putting their ears towards them.
Yeah, gotcha. So they are, and do we have evidence to support the fact that it was not them?
The last scene that she was leaving with the one who the singer, but the problem is I had the one who plays the guitar came with me. She is now with Mariposa because guess what? She's taken to questioning. The one who plays the drum ran away. She's hard to find because she can be very small, as Charles probably would, like William would have told him already that she is a mouse, Puka.
Yes.
Exactly. We talk with your direct superior. We will track this individual down and talk with her, but there is something I need to tell you, which needs to be in private, but we can state after here.
Of course. Well, I wish you happy hunting. I believe, unfortunately, they I'm being pulled in a different direction, similar but different, looking into their associates.
I believe you heard that we have the cops in Brooklyn arrested a couple individuals in a bar.
Mm. I'm aware they're also lurking in other areas, particularly where where I make my home and formerly had my sole occupation in.
Yeah, there are some in Brooklyn as well, I think. I was recently in one. I didn't just, went there and went just to investigate the groups, nothing more. But it seems they come like a plague these days.
Well, maybe it's the effect of the atmosphere.
Maybe.
And I hear things are getting far more miasmic in Bronx these days.
Have you heard what happened in Brooklyn? I think maybe Leon told you. We invited him and his friends, but you're among his friends, of course.
Mm.
I think you were invited. Now, sure. You know, Misha does some stuff. With the circle, and Amber kind of did the thing that she can do while everybody was inside. Everybody was having a great night. They refilled themselves with joy and happiness and creativity. And now we offer the same, I believe, to everywhere in Bronx to actually aid the Bronx, which is hopefully really cool.
That's wonderful.
He nods.
Outside, tickets for last minute no shows, people hoping to get a bargain perhaps, are finally being released for those who decided to stand in line to perhaps get tickets to the show last minute. This is your in, other people who have yet to hop in the scene.
So
Where are we?
Carnegie Hall.
So Max makes his way up to the ticket booth. He says, "Hi, is this where you take my ticket?"
This is where you buy a ticket, sir. Last minute tickets, usually they're going to be up in the, well, not the balcony, but further back and in the wings.
Sorry. Okay.
No. Did you already have a ticket?
He reaches into the into his suit. He's wearing a suit, not a tux. It's not a particularly nice suit either. That's what he has. And he pulls out a piece of paper that he unfolds and offers it. It says, I got this from, you see. I was the 5th caller on 96.1 The Pickle. Got free tickets to see this show.
And the cashier looks at the ticket, looks at you in your not great suit.
Smiles awkwardly.
Just, if you go around the corner there, see where all the people are filing into the building? Just please follow them, sir. And wait for the lights in the lobby to blink to show you that it's time for you to start taking your seat.
Thank you, my man.
She looks a little offended. Oh, yes. Right back at you, dude.
I'm not your dude, bro.
I'm not your bro Jangles.
Not your friend, pal.
Share your probably just behind the dude that got a ticket. She'll say, I have a ticket. Where do I go? Oh, same way?
Yes.
Go ahead.
She just
She just follow the guy.
The ticket salesperson like pulls up the window a bit and leans out. This is for purchase. If you need to go into the theater, follow the crowd. Then lowers the window a bit. Alice.
About that point, Alice is going to be coming up. She's in a floofy pink dress, all sparkles and smiles, with plenty of photographers nearby taking pictures, as this is her return to Manhattan and has not been seen here during daylight hours for a very long time. And so she's walking up, enjoying, signing some autographs as she approaches the entrance. People are kind of surprised to see her arriving. And she, of course, has complimentary tickets to get in and just walks in.
All right, now that the lot of you are in the lobby, you see Charles and William having a very serious-minded conversation.
Sounds very droll and banal.
Totally not Shane. No sketch here, no sir.
William sees Alice because Alice is extremely hard to not see with all the paparazzi after her.
Mm-hmm.
And he nods at the Baroness who arrived to this place.
She'll lower a set of sunglasses that are just dazzlingly sparkle-licious and wink at him as she passes. And when she sees Charles, blows him a kiss, and then which of course gets paparazzi aiming cameras at him as she continues walking by.
And he just puts like that whole so bashful sort of thing with like the kiss of the cheek thing.
What, why? William was like, why? Okay, I guess.
Oh no, it seemed polite.
Not to you. I like.
No. this old mess.
This is weird.
Sticking out a little bit is a satyr who is also filing in at the same time with everybody. A little underdressed for the occasion.
William has a leather jacket. Don't worry.
Of course. Well, it's leather jacket weather right now, so
exactly. It's leather jacket time.
I don't think I've met this one.
So do I.
William, shall we introduce ourselves?
Please.
Mm-hmm. As William and Charles, there we go, make their way over to the unknown satyr. And for you, Robbie, to give you the full description of at least what you're seeing when it comes to Charles, imagine, you're like the statue of David, like literally that carved marble piece of work, except imagine that it's actually capable of full movement, with stained glass window eyes, diamond fangs, pure diamond fangs, and literal like ivy hair coming out of it to like near waist length. As it's approaching you, followed behind, William, I'll let you describe yourself.
7 foot tall, actually it's 7.5 foot tall troll who has a leather jacket, and he has like scars on his face. One of them is a cosmetic scar, which is in his face, like in a photo. There's another scar on his neck. He seems a bit rough. His horns are pretty big for a
the
troll.
Hugest.
Yeah, it's like, and there is a giant fuck off wolf behind him.
So, you immediately see a sense of wonder on the satyr's face, and his mouth opens up a little bit, like, "Oh, friends!" He doesn't say it, but that look is just written on. Yeah, that. It's a.
There is a gift for that, I think, too.
100%. his horns spiral out, sort of the corners of his head, that he's the top half of him is wearing a gray suit jacket and a formal shirt, tie. It's all fairly shabby, but the lower half of him is wearing a very neat, very ornate, long loincloth. Looks very nice. Just kind of unbecoming for the top half of him. It's kind of like all business on the bottom and all party on top.
He is the mullet of fairies.
He is the mullet of fairies.
So beautiful. Good evening, sir. I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting.
No, we haven't. I'm Max Harper.
Max Harper. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Charles.
Pleasure's a big word.
And this over here is... And let me introduce you to my friend William, he says, talking over her.
William Black, as he extends a hand.
Yeah, and he'll shake hands emphatically all around. There's no swag to him.
This is Shea.
And she smiles. And so yeah, Shea, Robbie. Well, I think you've seen her, but just to go, even to the people who hear, you see her body. It's like the perfect body of a dancer. And as you go up, you get to her face, and it's like, wait, come on, yeah. Then gets to her face. It's like, yep, there's big teeth and there's red, like orangey eyes.
Kieran's 4, ladies and gentlemen.
We set standards here.
Setting the bar high.
Murderous manes, red caps. It's just it's the new 4.
Well, now, I mean, at the end of the day, our Nosferatu sparkle in the sunlight. So.
Oh no, not Twilight, please.
Now the other two, he like full extended elbow handshakes, but when Shea comes up, like he's at half mast. his elbow's certainly bent a little bit, but he still smiles. This one with less teeth.
With less teeth. Yeah, she goes for a full handshake. Quite strong for a girl, but it's not going. She doesn't like try to hurt your hand.
And he'll ease up a little bit when she shows signs of a bit more friendliness. Oh man, all kinds of people here today.
Are you new around here?
Well, kind of. I lived here before, but now I'm back, and yes, I'm new.
Oh, where have you been for so long?
Just the next state over, upstate.
Well, it's wonderful for you to have found your way back home. I know some people have those reminiscent feelings about it. Are you planning on staying long, or is this just a visit?
Oh, this is a stay. This is a stay.
Ah, welcome.
Welcome indeed. What part of New York? Are you staying in the city itself proper, or are you on in the outlying parts of the state?
Oh, I'm in North Queens.
Oh, you should totally meet with like a couple people there. We have like a lot of friends who lives there. Maybe Caldwell.
Yes, Caldwell would definitely be a very appropriate individual to meet. Definitely can give you. I don't want you to be bold. Have you ever had tea? Are you a particular tea drinker?
Yeah, every time I go to McDonald's.
Well, I'm afraid it probably wouldn't be McDonald's tea, but I think you would find the tea there to be most exquisite, as well as the connections you might make there.
Completely.
Caldwell's tea is fucking amazing.
What, does he put like ginger in it?
If you want, he can make you he can customize your own tea if you want. You just tell him what you like, and he makes your own fucking tea. It's amazing.
I didn't know you could customize tea.
Well, he makes his own tea.
So did I. William, like, wow, that shit is new.
Everybody go ahead and roll perception alertness if you're in the lobby.
Mhm.
Standard difficulty, nothing wiling out or anything.
A roll that I can't botch. I got. I can't botch this shit.
Charles notices,
Okay.
but that's hysterical. I'm a child.
I can't botch this because trolls can't botch alertness rolls.
Ooh.
5 successes.
Yeah, Shea's on the ball.
Hey, I got this shit.
So what happens if you botch a roll you can't botch? It's just straight
It's
fail,
just a
right?
it's just a fail.
Just a
Yeah.
straight
Okay.
fail.
William is too interested in Max's teats. So he keeps seeing.
All right. So those of you who have succeeded, those of you who know who the individuals are, you see Leon,
Mm.
and with him in tow is Mariposa.
Ah.
God damn it.
I think this might be a good opportunity to at least meet one of the individuals you want to speak with in Queens, and someone of a far more far-reaching influence. Please follow me.
This is awesome.
When he says this, Shay goes, like, reaches her hand for a high five.
Yeah, he'll absolutely. Yeah.
William follows Charles slowly because he's like, God damn it, this motherfucker's right here.
Yeah. For those, Leon Mariposa.
Now, because it's public, I'm sure, and because of Charles's position, I'm sure he knows what their quote unquote what they would prefer to be called in the gray, so that we're not,
Yeah, you can call Leon and Marisol.
Leon and Marisol. It's like, Leon, Marisol, a pleasure to see you this evening. I'm glad you were both able to make it.
Charles, I wasn't expecting to see you here.
I
Most
wasn't
people apparently weren't.
I was expecting to see as well, bro. William comes out.
Mr. Black, always a pleasure.
Bro, always a pleasure. He looks at Mariposa. And Marielle, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Black.
William, guys, come on.
Yes. Very good. We decided to catch a show and maybe afterwards discuss the job.
Of course, of course. I don't wish to take you up too much of your time here, but I figured I'd introduce an individual who has recently found his way back to the homelands here, specifically in northern Queens. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Max. Max Harper. He'll like offer both of his hands.
She looks at his hands and she takes one and gives it a polite shake. Maribel Hernandez, but formal names can be exchanged at a later time. It is a pleasure to meet you.
I see you practice your English, Maribel. Very good.
My English is just fine, thank you very much, Mr. Black.
Please, William, please call me William. William smiles because like they call him William when he's like comes around, and now they call him Mr. Black. He loves it.
She kind of whispers harshly, I should call you cabron.
Maribel, it's good to see you.
Ah, Alice, I see that you are out for the show. Promotions for your upcoming tour?
That and appearances, things have to be maintained. I can't just stay in seclusion forever, she says with a wink.
Of course. And like Leon kind of gives a sort of scowl at this. And Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought I told you to stay in Queens. Hold on. He's giving her like the stink.
She
Why aren't
smiles
you
at
here?
him.
Yeah, and
Leon, it's been forever, she says, giving him a hug.
Oh.
he just looks. Miss Amari.
What's up, bro? You don't like hugs? Come on. Let's take a selfie.
Who are
No
we
need to be
hugging?
so formal. I mean, Alice will still work, she says with a wink.
Yeah, man. Yeah, William is being so annoying with like his mans and bros. He knows it. Yeah, he's trying his best to be annoying.
Charles, your friend.
Yes.
Quite the lively crowd. They want selfies. Go ahead and give them selfies. But Marisol and I, well, I need to show off my arm candy. So if you will,
By all means, Leon, I was only trying to introduce you to a new fellow member of our society, and seeing Mari here, I thought it would be a great opportunity to at least give a basic introduction. Please continue and have a wonderful evening.
yes, all of you as well.
Thank you.
Please have a wonderful evening.
By the way,
Far,
Mari,
and he looks at everybody far, far, far away from me.
He kind of like.
you
"See
got
what
it,
you do,
Hang
Mufasa.
on. Where are you sitting so I make sure I don't sit by you?
The balcony.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I won't be there.
And Chad just nods. You got it, Mufasa.
I'll see you across, she says, pointing her fingers at him, and then walking away.
As Shea calls him Mufasa, he stops. Charles,
Mm,
a moment.
of course. Charles follows him.
Please inform this oh so bright young lady to watch what she calls me in public.
Mm. I'll be more than happy to impress upon her the severity of it.
Thank you. After all, we don't want people getting the wrong idea.
Of course not. Your hair is flawless anyway, he says. As he sort of gives like, not a full bow, but like it's sort of like a, yeah, I know, but.
Yeah. And he gives him the like, you're dismissed gesture with his hand and walks off with Mariposa.
If I was just gonna say one thing, while he called Charles, William heard Shea say Mufasa, and like he can see William smiling from the back, but from the Charles's back, like from like he can see William smiles very, very like nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Charles comes back. Sorry, I was being given a lecture on how important one's word choice is in public.
Shit, did I say something wrong?
Oh, no, you're fine. You're absolutely fine, Max. You did nothing wrong. Nothing of the reputable company.
Nah, you're cool. Just me. Yeah, sorry. Won't happen
Didn't
again.
knew the Count was dating with Mariposa. Marcel.
Well, I'm sure appearances must be kept, but such as it is. So.
The lights begin to flicker to let everybody know to take their seats.
Ooh. I know what this means.
Yes, I think it's time for us to make our way in.
As if you do continue to watch Leon, he does not go up to the balcony, but is instead led closer to the orchestra pit.
I'm not quite there, but I am in one of the more closer rows.
Yeah.
William is closer to where commoners are.
You mean the
He's in
general
cheap
rabble?
seats.
General Lab, and like he has this like wolf near him, laying on the ground.
Good news. No mosh pit at the ballet.
Max will
Challenge
probably end up,
accepted.
I mean,
Oh,
yet.
God.
Max will probably end up sitting somewhere near William, as he is also a commoner, a bit confusedly.
Well,
And,
well,
and then,
you are. Well, you did get the free ticket. So-
yeah.
Charles, you're seated next to a red-haired individual
Hmm?
with his coat folded over. Where would it be now, Chris?
It's now just folded on his lap very neatly.
There you go.
It is impeccably folded.
There's something unsettling about this individual sitting next to you.
Sorry since the gray world view is what's going on right now. Something unsettling about him, you say?
Yes, you.
Yeah. No, me. I'm the unsettling. There's something about him. I mean, he seems like, cut. I mean, very much the way you see him. Striking blue eyes, well tan skin, seems to have some premature graying at his temples and stuff, but well dressed. But when he smiles, the smile just seems a little too sharp. I guess it's going to be you and me during this performance. He says as he takes a seat. Charles Egar.
Timothy looks slightly surprised that he's being addressed by a member of the audience, but he very quickly regains his composure. It's more or less he kind of does a double take, like he kind of glances to you as you sit down. Then when you begin talking, he actually looks back to you.
Yep.
He says, so it appears to be. I am Timothy Knoll.
Timothy Knoll. He sort of stops for a moment because I'm sure the playlist is there and it has the name. Wouldn't be a coincidence that your last name's the same as our head performer tonight.
Older sister by 3 minutes.
Ah, well, this is most fortuitous then. You must have seen how hard she's been training for this moment.
Very. Extremely so.
Mm.
There's nary a moment when she is not practicing.
I can imagine. This is also a dream come true in a way, actually. Being on Carnegie Hall.
It's her big debut. I'm immensely proud of her.
I'd imagine so. You wouldn't, obviously, since you're not on the performance plays, I don't wish to assume that you yourself are a dancer yourself.
I'm the more administrative sort.
Ah.
I guess you could say she spends the time practicing, I make it.
Oh, I see. So you're not only her other half from the womb, but also the technical side of her blossoming creativity and passion.
Unofficially. A few of these things are official.
It's true. Few things are, but this is going to change a lot of things for her, I think. Being in Carnegie Hall, unofficial is going to become more official now, I think.
She owes me a lot of money then.
The lights dim. The seating situation is, for the sake of narrative convenience, Charles next to Timothy. Alice will be closer to where the nobility sit, because since she is a celebrity, they are not giving her the cheap seats. Max, Shea, and William all relatively close together as far as the affordable seats given or purchased. All right. Yes, good, everybody? Fantastic. As the lights begin to go down, the orchestra swells for the prologue, in which young Aurora and her christening and the malevolent fae that curses the young child, and the lavender fairy, which acts as the good godmother, as well as the three fairies who present their gifts to her. It is not Maleficent in the ballet, but Caraboss, and she's overlooked. She is offended. The girl is cursed, and the fairies, they try to find a way to work around, avoid the calamity, the destiny that is foretold for Sleeping Beauty. Act 1 begins, and for the first time as prima ballerina, Lyra steps out onto the stage. Lyra or Lyra? I don't want to keep mispronouncing it if I am.
I've pronounced it as Lyra, but I'm fine with you calling it Lyra. I don't mind, really.
Lyra. All right. Lyra on stage for the first time as prima ballerina, performing in the titular role of Sleeping Beauty herself. She moves with grace and elegance. And while that is what you're doing, you can go ahead and narrate what goes through your mind as you go through Act 1, 16 years after the christening.
What goes through her mind? Well, it's kind of where when she first sets her steps on stage and looks into the crowd, you can barely see because of the lighting. She feels just that moment of terrible nervousness where you have the feeling that you're gonna sink through your knees, you fall down on the stage and ruin everything. And it's as the music starts playing and she slowly picks up the dance, makes her pliés and all that other ballet stuff that I don't know anything about, but the character does. It's that moment that the music and the story just kind of take over her being. And she is not Lyra, she is Aurora. She is Sleeping Beauty, and she is dancing her heart out at that point. And just, barely even noticing the crowd anymore, barely even noticing her fellow dancers anymore. It's just her and the other characters of this story.
Act 1 ends with Aurora pricking her finger on a spindle and the lilac fairy putting the entire kingdom to sleep. As the scene draws to a close, a thick forest of thorns and dark trees rise up to consume the kingdom.
Charles is smiling a little too pleasantly at that final image crawling around.
Scene 2 begins, or Act 2. Yes, thank you. We understand.
Bravo! Bravo!
Oh my god.
Yeah, 3 acts, guys. So Act 2 begins, and it is it starts with the Princess Hunt, and it's much more focused on the prince. Act 2 is. So the second part of Act 2 brings you to Sleeping Beauty's castle, where we see Sleeping Beauty lying on a canopied bed. her mother and father sleeping beside her in chairs. Cobwebs decorate the stage, lined with lights to make them shimmer a bit to show that this kingdom has been asleep for 100 years. The Lilac Fairy leads the prince to Sleeping Beauty. This is where Lyra lies on this bed. And as the prince leans to kiss Sleeping Beauty, to
Oh my.
wake her, this is the scene that you witness. The music swells as this fairy, this dancer, Aurora, awakens. This inspired moment, this beauty awakening, the celebration of awakening. And there is beauty. And everybody roll glamour for this first wave of inspired performance. To harvest. Difficulty 7. All successes count as a point of glamour. Those of you who are currently full up on glamour can collect it as dross.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh my lord! What is
Again a fail.
Can I gain?
Yes, just put it down as glamour or dross, whatever you do.
Thank you.
Can I be adding to Changeling Dice Roller?
You don't have access to the Changeling Dice Roller?
No.
Hey, fam. Guess what? Guess what, fam? Guess how long that shit's gonna last?
I mean, Chris and I need to roll that? I take a no.
Not yet. Chris isn't a fae yet, and you're the.
We're gonna get a slap bang of so much stuff coming up.
Don't worry, it's about to get a little more intense because the performance was this first spout of glamour, but that spout of glamour from this perfect performance, this emotionally wrought performance, opens up something between Arcadia and this world. And Lyra, what this human feels is a sort of twisting pressure within her soul. Something finding its way, falling from some unseen height. In her ears, the sound of shattered glass. This fairy soul falls through the mists, losing so much of who they were, who they are. And replaces the soul within Lyra. And as that soul is replaced with this confused creature from Arcadia, this dancer who has danced perfectly stumbles and falls to the stage.
Oh shit! No, he didn't.
It's ruined.
Everybody roll again for the surge of glamour coming straight from Arcadia.
Haha. Still diff 7?
Yes.
Okay.
Give me
3 more successes. Yay! I'm back to full.
I'm gonna claim that motherfucking draws. Thank you, Arcadia. Fuck you, Arcadia.
Can I
Watching
remove
ballet
an
for
imbalance
money.
with this?
Yes, if you've got a full thing, you can remove an imbalance with that.
All right. Imbalance removed instead of dross. Thank you.
All right.
Charles still doesn't know he's imbalanced, so I'm not doing that yet.
Timothy, what you see is your sister on her debut. This moment that was supposed to be life-changing. And you watch her fall. And it breaks your heart. This performance was beautiful and moving. And for it to end with her on the floor looking confused and bewildered. This person who you've known since the womb. You feel protective. You feel like you should rush to the stage and protect her from the world that is gasping at her folly, at her fall. And that need to protect her opens up this twin glimmer. And it feels like a fire burning away all that was Timothy. As your Fey soul from Arcadia surges and fills this human body. And everybody roll glamour again. So, how it currently stands in this performance hall. The prima ballerina has fallen. What you see is an Arcadian she of breathtaking beauty. Like a goddess manifest. Charles, beside you, another has been born, has arrived. With hair like fire. Not just red hair. Hair like flames. Arcadian she. Two of them. In an instant. Everyone else will instantly see the arrival of the Arcadian she and the prima ballerina. But you'll need to roll perception alertness if you are not Charles to see where the other is. You know where the glamour is, you just don't see him yet.
Do you mind if I roll remembrance with these two potentially? Okay. What would the difficulty be on that one, Carol?
We're going to go with 8 for Lyra because she doesn't have any remembrance of her own. So we're just going to say that the myths are trying to conceal who she is quite a bit, and 7 for the guy next to you.
Okay, cool. So I'll roll.
I'm just gonna make a quick PM.
William is like considering. Chris said he will make a quick PM, and William's just considering, like, should he like middle finger the stage or something? He's, like, looking at Max, and he like shakes his head. He's like, "Yeah, you're in for some kind of treat, man."
Dude, this ballet kicks ass.
That was Lyra. Best ballet ever. I've never seen one before, but this takes it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm signing up for classes tonight.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, good. I got 2 for both of them. So.
Okay. You're aware that there is a tower of glass connected to these two individuals. They are brother and sister. I'll let them feed you another minor detail you may know about their character, because they will know them better than I do.
No?
Yes. Some small detail that he may know about your character.
Let me
Nothing major. You don't have to give me anything major.
Yeah.
No, it's more that you know how long my backstory is. It's like 5 sentences.
Hi, Dad.
And it begins.
And then Timothy.
So because my character actually has some idea of who he is.
Yeah.
You can roll your remembrance for Charles if you would like as well.
Yes, what is just remembrance rating or
Yes.
intelligence remembrance? Okay.
Yep. And what would you say the diffs for me, Carol?
7. We're gonna say 7 for you as well.
I've got 2 successes.
All right. Go ahead and feed him some tidbits about yourself.
Okay, so he as you already know, he lived in a glass tower with his sister. Rather, it was more of a glass palace, and the sister just lived in the tower. This Fae before you was the one who how to say it, tended to the halls in its people, was their host and its lord's council, an advisor, a chancellor, a privy council figure. Their father ruled the castle.
Okay.
Their dad was a troll with freedom.
It was me. So, to give you this,
and I guess the additional success would be he was rarely, in fact, he was probably to most changelings, so probably to your changeling and everybody else, because he was never seen in court without almost like a trademark gown, which shone like summer, like a summer day afternoon.
Oh, see, can everybody with remembrance roll, or is it just Charles because he's closer?
As Charles because he's a noble, and they are nobles.
And we are all Arcadians.
Yeah.
Privilege.
I think as far as Lyra goes, the information we'd have about her is that she is I mean, I'm inclined to say she's a dreamer, but hey, we're fucking changelings. Like, that's like the understatement.
An unseelie with absent-minded.
Perhaps so, yeah. She is very nice, sort of blissfully ignorant, and she has a fondness for high places and looking out over landscapes. Like,
Probably remembers her from the top of those towers, maybe stretching out a little too far out over the edge of it, but not with fear, and everyone's eyes drawn to her. And for him, he remembers him, that gown shimmering with summer itself, songs made about it. He remembers singing them, singing songs of summer. For this, she standing next to you, or sitting next to you, or probably standing, because I think everyone had that stand-up shock when she stumbled. Where you see his hair, you see the marble skin, you see those stained glass windows eyes, and you see that smile full of diamond fangs. This is Cararis, keeper of the diamond word, dancer of the crimson field. And you know there's 2 other titles with him. You just can't quite remember. But you know that this was a duke of Arcadia.
As it takes Lyra so long to recover, the curtains are drawn quickly. And Timothy, you see in this bewildering world that lacks the brightness of the one you just left, heavy curtains have obscured your twin from view. And your back, it feels constricted. You feel uncomfortable. What do you do?
He should probably fly to his sister.
Don't do that. Charles, stop him.
I'll do my best.
What is this strange and bewildering world and the constant whisperings in my ear from unwanted sources?
Blasphemy! You dare command a lord of Arcadia? Voice!
Scum! I unleash sovereign! He'll get up and begin heading down. Actually, no. He would recognize you to an extent. He...
And even Charles is like looking at you too with those stained glass window eyes, not blinking but staring at you in that moment as he's also caught up in remembering you.
Now kiss. No.
Give it some.
Oh my.
Give it time, Carol. These things can't be rushed. There has to be. There are rules to this.
William is kind of like looks at Shea and Max and says, maybe we should just tell him to go back.
It's what Tim does. He's already standing in shock and fear at what has become of his sister. He turns to Charles for a brief. He doesn't know him as Charles though, not even remotely.
Carraris. He knows him as Carraris, Duke of Arcadia.
He will give a slight bow, attempting to recompose himself before saying, "Apologies, Duke Carraris, but I must tend to my sister."
You'll want to come with me then. After all, you're her brother. You have a reason to see. Come with me, and I'll take you to her.
He kind of lifts up an eyebrow, having no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Exactly. He doesn't need to know right now. All that matters is you're her brother, after all. Come with me. I'll take you to her. And he basically he holds out his hand to, like, take my hand, child, sort of thing.
When he does that, he assumes to have a better idea of what you're trying to do than he probably actually does. And we'll just take your hand.
And Charles starts to lead him down as, like, most people are starting to, sort of pressure around and stuff like that. And they're all, probably all confused and hushed and stuff. And Charles starts bringing him towards the area where, the stage entrance is supposed to be, or where the where only people who are like members of the cast or family can go.
Green room.
Yeah, the green room. You know what I'm talking about, Carol.
I do. For those of you who are bewildered in the audience, the curtain stays closed for a few more minutes before the performance resumes with the understudy in the role of Sleeping Beauty from this point on. She doesn't dance with the same grace as Lyra. It's technically proficient, but it lacks that certain polish to it. And the show just seems to be a bit disappointing to the changelings in the audience from this point out. The nobles have gotten up and are pushing their way out of the crowd almost immediately. What are the rest of you doing?
William was like telling us, "Yeah, guys, there's a problem and things to do. It's better to leave."
No, they're looking for the freaking not leave. They're leaving the audience because that's not where the issue is.
Let me give shit to them.
No. They do not leave because there's problems. They go towards the problem.
William kind of gets up. He looks at the giant fuck off wolf. Looks at Max and Shea. So probably this will be cool and kind of painful, and probably this will be extremely stupid. But do you guys want to go?
I'm in.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Shea, we will watch our tongue as best as we can. Max, you kind of look like a kind of guy who is extremely friendly, so I don't think there will be a problem.
Okay.
Shea grins as he says that, and she pokes out her tongue, and her eyes go down to her tongue.
No, where is Alice? William is like looking for Alice. Fairness. Is he like says under his breath?
Alice has, at this point, when she saw the understay come out, has taken the moment to head off any problems and was making her way towards the backstage.
Okay.
William kind of like will go to backstage, but he doesn't know if the backstage will allow him.
Mm-hmm.
So he will just be like, electrician, and he will try to enter.
Electrician and assistants.
Assistants.
Yeah.
Hey, to be fair, Shea is stepdad is a like powerful, rich, powerful politician, so she probably has right.
Conversely, Alice is going with "I'm hot and famous." So.
Just at the moment, the green room is not like under heavy guard or anything. We're talking about ballet. Their fans are not typically the kind who like rush the stage for a piece of the performers. So
I need part of that dress.
Yeah.
Your shoes will be mine.
So yeah, feel free to calm down about anybody thwarting your efforts as you move backstage, especially since the show is still going on.
Yep.
There may be a couple of people who are like, "What?" But as long as you display an air of confidence, like, "No, I belong here," they're not going to stop you.
Well, Charles at the least has the advantage of he's going with the brother of the individual.
Mm-hmm.
That helps for one.
William is the electrician.
Yeah,
I'm an electrician too.
William Max is just like electrician, show points at Max, and like points at Shea, assistant. Going in.
I miss Monroe. Thank you.
She just finished college. Let's go.
Lyra will have been like taken to the like a couch in the green room to sort of sort out what has just happened to her. Of course, the human beings that brought her there have no idea what the hell just happened to her.
I don't think Lyra knows what happened to her either. She's just sitting there, kind of staring around herself, like bewildered. Like, what?
Oh shit!
Yeah. So Charles comes in, leading Timothy along to the room where there's, of course, Lyra standing there, and even Charles is caught, like, even though he's like sense of purpose and everything, catching there, he has to stop just to get his bearings around this thing. He remembers her standing high in those towers, but it was always at a distance. He had never seen her up close, and he knows the light that she shines even now is nowhere. It's just a pale spark in comparison to the way she stood on those towers. But even now, here in this place, she shines so much brighter, so much more real. Even that takes his breath away, because all the gray has gone away, and all there is her.
William kind of like goes in and he's like, "Oh, my eyes." as he like kind of like stares at the sheep for a while.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That was a bad.
He kind of looks and he like shakes his head because he's like, Amber, Amber, Amber.
Yeah. If you want to not have a reaction, I need to see a willpower difficulty 8 roll.
Automatically fail.
Yeah, that's fine. If you react to it, you don't have to roll.
Does this include me?
No.
You've seen this enough. It's fine. This is daily.
Yeah, this is daily for me.
In fact, maybe it's worse because she doesn't look anywhere near as bright as she once was.
Yeah, I'm actually going to make a manipulation subterfuge roll to maintain my composure at that particular site, that she is merely a reflection.
And yeah, Shaya hide her reaction. She just goes, damn!
I get 6 successes on that roll because I have a specialty in concealing emotions.
Nice. I'm too focused on on how the world is now so colorful with her here. Anyway.
How wonderful life is.
So yeah, Timothy just kind of gazes over the new color of the environment, but his eyes kind of snap to Lyra, seeing how the angelic, perfect form she always possessed is now. It looks more like a mimicry. Still potent, but as if both of them have been robbed of something of themselves. And he actually looks quite stern. And if there's still a bunch of mortals around her,
There's one or two people who are friends of the mortal Lyra trying to just like, it's okay. Everybody has these moments. Everything was beautiful up until then. It'll be fine. This isn't the end. Don't worry. Shh.
give us some space. Fetch her a glass of water. He points to one of them.
And they're like, oh,
Already.
Of course.
they're mere mortals. And the moment he speaks, they just, of course, yeah. Yes, sir. And they scurry off to go get water, like a fan for her.
Yeah, even he's now far more potent than once his mortal frame was too. App 6, Jesus. Okay.
As the mortals carry on their way, he feels a part of himself refilled.
Ha-ha!
And it appears the mortals still know. This is good.
Oh God.
Yes. So Charles finally getting after the command goes. He manages to finally snap himself out of his reverie there before he brings the brother and sister together. But he kneels down, not bowing to them or anything like that, but kneeling down to like sort of gaze into her eyes, and he almost finds himself caught once again into her eyes. But he's trying to look for something for recognition or awareness of what's going on, not just confusion there, but at least that assurance of what she is.
Lyra, the world.
Sorry, guys. BRB.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
It's
Some more reaction shots then.
Absolutely lost on her face. What? No.
Yeah, so this is your chance, Max, to ask. The only thing you'll ever ask of her is a single thread of her hair. It's time to go full Gimli on this. Come on.
But she's not here to ask.
I know.
I feel ways about that.
William looks at the Timothy and says, "So, welcome."
He looks at
Sorry, I'm
the
back.
Okay.
and simply says, naturally. As if this is completely normal. Because he got 6 successes to look like everything is fine. So he'll pretend everything is fine.
William is extremely defiant. Even the way he stands is defiant. He doesn't bow. He doesn't lower his face. His looks are. There's a defiance in this guy. He didn't say "my lord" or anything like that. It's obvious.
Okay.
Max is
And behind him, there's this girl who. It's strange. She's hot. She's like really hot, but she's also got big ass teeth and reddish yellow eyes. So it's very strange.
He looks at them. He looks at the small crowd which has gathered.
Max is just smiling from ear to ear. Chimes in with "I like your hair, dude."
It's hot.
It's pretty wild, man.
Oh, shit!
Can you show me how to do that?
Can you show me?
That's awesome. But yeah, Charles is still focusing on the entity formerly known as Lyra. trying to get that idea of whether she's like, all here. She has a basic understanding of what's going on. Not just confusion, but that sort of aspect of something more familiar.
Sorry, this is a response to William.
Yeah, go on.
He says, I am afraid I do not recognize you. I am Arlingry, Royal Chancellor for the Palace of Crystal Hearts.
William Black.
Shaya. She smells.
And after Charles staring for quite some time at Lyra, she suddenly seems to realize there are people around her. So it's like her eyes shoot back into reality, and she focuses on Charles and
And he smiles. That smile, it's way too wide for a normal smile. It's weird because it's like a statue starting to smile, but it's those diamond fangs.
You almost trust the red cap more than him.
Almost. Hello.
She reaches out and kind of touches his cheek.
It is stone.
Really? You're really close.
I'm right here in front of you. Do you know what is your name?
Saskia, PM me your name because Arlen
she would be aware that the more there is a bit of a catalog of information of the mortal husk still there. It's not your memories, but you can access that you're Lyra. But your brother would know better.
Well, yeah, can you PM me that?
I did.
Oh, thank you.
It's Lyra? No.
Charles sort of looks at that because that is definitely not. That's not ringing the bell. That's the name of the host. It's like, but that's the name.
Rihanna.
Sorry, what was? Go ahead. I missed what you said. Go ahead.
The beautiful and gracious Lady Rhiannon.
Lady Rhiannon. Oh, goodness. Does this name mean anything to you?
There's a smile coming on her face. Yes, that's me as well. Why is this world so heavy? It feels really heavy.
Yes, the bureaucracy of physics and iron, I'm afraid. We have a lot to talk about, you and your brother, and the rest of us. You've taken a grand step into another world, and I'm afraid you're very, very far from home.
Timothy, the weight of the fabric against your chimerical wings is almost unbearable at this moment. Now that you see that your sister is alive, even the shock of seeing her thrust into this shell, it's becoming harder and harder to ignore the feel of the gray pinning down your reality.
At this point, Timothy shifts a little bit, kind of turning to the side. He just he puts down his coat and just leaves it impeccably folded, as it always is. And yeah, we'll just unbutton his shirt as he just says, "My apologies for the lack of decency. Where is my gown?"
Charles sort of, Charles. Sorry, go ahead,
Charles. As he begins to kind of take off this strangely, like this. What is this strange fabric caging him?
Call it cotton poly blend. Ugh.
Yeah. Where is his trademark gown? Where is his summer gown?
Yeah, go ahead.
As he begins to take off his shirt and large eagle wings begin to unfurl from his back.
And as he removes this gray that was fighting against his full grandeur, the chimerical gown finally has enough room to manifest, adding even more to this beautiful visage. Please describe this gown, this royal garb that you wear.
So, yeah, what this gown is, it's a very long, silken-looking gown. Looks like it's comprised of 2 layers. Think of it a bit like a Chinese hanfu, as it kind of it literally goes all the way, it drapes all the way down to his feet, and a little bit about 20 centimeters further, as it shimmers gold and blue, kind of shifting, not in the light, but in giving off its own. It is almost too bright. It's almost blinding. It's just bright enough. It almost resembles a clear afternoon summer, as it glows with a sort of holy majesty.
Does it come extra large?
And you can literally see like the light sort of move with time, almost at an accelerated pace.
After William sees this thing, because it's kind of really nice, he was like, does it?
The upper half of the back is largely bare. Like there's small, it covers the side, his sides and his lower back, but there's a small sort of open area which kind of shows off like about half of his upper back that allows his wings to kind of breathe, and the gown almost works in tandem with his wings. Like as the light is given off from the gown, it lands and refracts and reflects off of the wings.
Charles almost gives a sigh as he sees this taste of summer. Not its full majesty, sadly, but still it brings its memories of summers in Arcadia brought in to this moment, woven into this place. Even if it's not as much as it once was, it still resonates. It still brings something comforting to him as he sees it. And he almost sort of looks at it for a moment and he goes, I remember when your father gave that to you.
Arcadia times.
My coming of age, I remember that.
He asked me to sing songs of summer into it. And it still shines so bright. I'm sad to say that, however, this is going to be a strange conversation, he says, as he's still kneeling in front of the Lady Rhiannon, or Lyra, still confused about maybe a little bit of who she is, but allow me to introduce myself here in this place now. I am Sir Cararis, Keeper of the Diamond Word, Knight of the County of New Hope. Welcome to Earth.
Would I remember Earth as the autumn world? OC? Is that something Timothy
Yes.
would remember?
The autumn world would work as well.
Yeah.
You should try the bacon. It's pretty dope.
I love this character.
Timothy kind of turns to these, like he kind of looks to the commoners, then back to Cararis, somewhat almost inquisitive, but he will again bow to Sir Cararis. But also looks a bit confused, as that's not how he remembers him. And says, thank you.
Please, I think I've kept you separated from each other long enough. Please have a seat. Go ahead, Saskia. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Don't worry. But at that point, Lyra kind of gets up, like pretty fast, like not super fast, but just fast, and she almost jumps up, like a flurry of like skirts and everything, as she
Probably almost hits Charles on the way.
then dips into a curtsy in front of Charles. It's almost like she's giggling as she is twisting back up, dancing around him, and like moving close towards Max, like pushing her face almost in front of him, like almost against his nose. It's bacon.
I see. As Shad is a dancer, she would watch that. How good of a dancer is Lyra? Like, is she like? Is that like someone who's been dancing? She was a child.
She's pretty good. Not the best, but you know.
Poured her damn heart out. Yeah.
Given that, like, I mean, Lyra might have been a great dancer. Rhiannon, maybe not so much. So it's kind of stuck there in the middle.
Yeah, definitely not what was going on upstage that inspired people with glamour. So
not anymore.
Well, Bacon, Max, you explain, man.
Okay, so the best way to describe bacon. Imagine a
Heaven.
strip. Hang on. We're getting to the heaven. It's a strip cut from a very bizarre place. We don't really talk about it. It makes it less appetizing. But it's baked. Or sometimes it's baked. Sometimes it's fried. You can cook it all kinds of ways. And it tastes like sweet ambrosia, nectar of the gods, crispy and sweet, sometimes savory. You can pair it with just about anything. I've seen people pair it with ice cream, and it's still good.
Timothy had some 2 weeks ago.
Will you bring it to me? Please.
Yeah!
Can we?
William is like, she said, please. I like this one.
Does he say that?
He does say it. She said, please. I like this one.
I know, she's cool, right?
Kinda.
That is not a particularly respectful way to address your lady.
Shut up.
Okay. Okay.
William.
Okay, so
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Timothy,
Times
your
have changed.
orange wings kind of bristle at that very sharply as he simply needs his hands and turns away from you into Kararis.
Councilman Black. I would expect, given a person stranded, though this may not be Brooklyn, you would at least give at least a modicum of welcoming to our displaced cousins.
Welcome, dude.
Sir Kararis, if I may add to that statement, I am not going to allow any fights or other issues to break out in my barony at this time. Councilman Black, please.
I'm sure
They just
it was
arrived.
nothing. I'm sure he was just doing his duty.
You are the
Don't
Baron
worry.
of this. Well, no, he won't. He'll let his sister speak. Timothy says, "You are the Baron of this domain."
Baroness Alice Amari, she says, giving a curtsy.
Oh, in which case he'll bow in respect.
Times changed. It's not Arcadia anymore. That's exactly what he says, and he says, we don't bow and scrape every noble we see.
No, I show respect.
Showing respect. He nods.
You still protect, right?
Those who deserves.
Of course.
Anyways, Lyra, right?
I see the autumn world has burned away many things.
Exactly.
Many useless things.
A lot has changed, especially here.
A lot has changed after, like the 600 years ago when just whole kit just disappeared.
But yeah, and Cher looks to Lyra. But Lyra, right? And just this is the first time you see a red cap, so I'm not sure. Well, I think it is. Oh, I just saw your message under there. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, if you're addressing her now, she will look in your direction.
Yeah,
and her eyes grow. Like, she has a surreal beauty merit, so her eyes are already kind of large. And when she opens them wide in surprise, they almost become even bigger and larger. It's just in this, like, almost azure blue color. And then she is basically squeaking, like, oh! And is then running to hide behind Timothy.
No. She looks down. Man, being a red cat sucks sometimes. No, don't be scared. I'm good.
He'll
Max-
put his hand on the shoulder of his sister.
I just wanted to know if
Don't worry
you were
yourself.
all right.
There is no threat here. He looks at the red cap as she speaks over him.
Mm.
And
Respect, please.
Hey, you spoke for me technically, but you.
She'll peek from like behind him.
I've seen respect given by, and he looks to Kroros and Baroness. By two.
Are you okay? Yeah, she looks to Lara. That was quite a fall.
A fall. Yes, I did fall. But it felt much longer. Like I was falling through the stars. Perhaps I was flying. I don't know anymore. You look odd.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not insulting you, but you do.
No,
Red
no,
cap.
I've had much worse. Don't worry.
May I? As she kind of reaches out with a hand.
She says, yeah. And she moves her hair out of the way.
Yeah, Lyra kind of like with one finger kind of like follows Shaya's forehead and then like over her nose and just until she reaches her chin and then she taps the chin. Huh. So much new.
I think you're going to find a lot of new here in this place. But before we go much further, and well, I think right now we have a good space here, away from prying ears for the time being. We should at least bring you a little bit up to speed of what things are like here and what you've come into.
Where is here?
Here is the farthest away you can get from Arcadia, but the closest you can to those that dream of it. You are in the autumn world, or more specifically, New York, yes. Carnegie Hall, specifically.
Right, yes. Huh.
You've, for one reason or another, have found yourselves transported from Arcadia and find yourselves here now in the autumn world. It has been a long time since our people have come here, but others who remained behind have made new lives here and new kingdoms and new ideas, new concepts of what it means to be a leader. As I was addressing Councilman Black, the barony of Brooklyn, or it's not barony, it's a governy, correct?
Democratic state of Brooklyn. He says with like very proud.
Mm.
It's under the leadership of Governor Sam Boggin.
Democracy. Yes, Timothy was studying this.
Savages.
How quaint!
Currently, though, you're in the barony of Manhattan.
Oh, pardon. A political structure
Based on
that decides
leadership.
leader through popular vote.
Yes.
There are two such entities like that in the county. The barony of Manhattan is a little bit more traditional and orthodox at the same time.
I see.
As a knight of the county, I will be taking you to be introduced to the Count himself. But I figure at least this time to get at least a little bit of your bearings before we make that journey.
Yes, that would be wise, I feel.
Well,
He kind of looks around and kind of just sees the dullness of everything. Like a blunted sword. It's just he just kind of gazes. I mean, Kraris probably understands this gaze because he's had this gaze many times.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of looks in the world, and it's people. He really only seems to give a deferent gaze to two of them, which being the Baroness and the Knight of the County.
Mm-hmm.
At least that is something he can understand.
Even though it doesn't make sense from what he once was.
No, but at least the title makes sense. Perhaps there has been some sort of betrayal that has laid low this once honourable and graceful Duke. Perhaps democracy has robbed him of what is his.
Yes, democracy, the true enemy. Finally, it all comes out now.
Activating Dragon's Ire 4.
Sovereign 5.
Activate Pyretics 5. I'm going to just bring everyone back to life.
Who has been treating the commoners as if they were people?
All right. All right. Let's bring it back.
This world is dulled, even more so than the last time I was here. Before then, dreams were still extant.
Things have gotten a lot darker since you've been away. And right now, nightmares kind of reign supreme.
Fuck nightmares.
And I suppose it is.
That would be rather difficult, wouldn't it not?
I
Fuck
suppose it is
nightmares.
beneficial that both of us have returned.
That laughing was in character.
Some people's are dreams or some people's nightmares.
Alice has a hand in front of her mouth, hiding a smile after William says that.
I didn't hear what William said, sorry.
Some people's dreams or some people's nightmares.
Oh, sorry, yeah. That I heard, sorry. I was talking about Max. I'm bad.
There is a problem going on. You may have hard time sleeping and see very horrible dreams. Nightmares. But it will be handled very soon.
There's a plan. There is a plan in effect.
Exactly.
That is a relief to hear.
Oh, see, there is a giant fuck-off wolf near William, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting about Kelgar.
You know what? Let's make friends with the wolf.
Yeah.
Lyra will go over to William. He'll smile at him and says, "Could you introduce me to your friend, please, sir?"
I am not sure, but of course, Kelgar, this is Lyra. Lyra, this is Kelgar. Ruff.
Oh. William, you know you are, sir, technically.
No, I am not.
Council members are considered the equivalent of a knight.
That means I am a councilman black, not a knight.
Lyra will kneel down in front of the wolf. She'll start petting him.
Wolf will lick your face.
He's getting your taste. He'll be able to find you later.
Melon boy, smelling good.
No, I think he'll.
Brought me here, and now it brings you to your newest compatriot. He says, somewhat amused.
Pardon?
He says, that's what Timothy says, or Arlen says to Rhiannon. Or Rhiannon.
You should see my dragons.
Is that a euphemism? No. Is what you hear from one of the returning ballerinas holding bottles of water, some like a paper fan, some ice cubes in a cup, just various things that they were able to procure in an effort to please the beautiful man who asked them to get stuff for his sister.
This is amazing.
But, you know, William is attractive as well at appearance 3, which is more than most people. Because that's how the stats is.
There is nothing but beautiful people in this room.
I know, it's fucking gross.
You have, he will just say to the two lovely ladies, you have my sincere thanks. My sister is currently being looked to. Would it be okay if we were given a moment?
Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah. And
if I may ask, what are your names?
Oh, my name's Deirdre, and this is Amanda. And Amanda just looks overwhelmed, like cannot talk.
You are friends of Lyra, yes? My sister.
Yeah, they're gonna give a look. Perception, empathy, anyone.
Doing it.
I'll do psychology if that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Wow, Charles is not doing well on this. this time around.
She's good too.
Too much room going on. Too much is going on in the room.
Okay, so
Who am I staring at Lyra right now?
Charles is probably more concerned about them possibly seeing her petting the air.
Yeah.
So he might be getting slightly in the way of it, so he's not paying much attention to that going on.
Alice picks up on it, definitely. As does who's Nennis?
That's me. Shaya.
Okay. Yeah, you pick up on it. William doesn't pick up on it. And yeah, 1 success.
Too busy.
Max, they're saying yes. As sort of an obligatory response. Alice, maybe because you're female and you pick up on the little nuances of bitchiness that women tend to have between each other. More along the lines of frenemies, perhaps, or just plain out secretly glad she fell on stage.
Does she get that as well?
Oh yeah, if you had that many successes, you'll get the same.
She got 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what 2 successes. That's what you pick up. Oh yeah, little less on the frenemies. Just that sort of like underlying bitchiness, because Alice got 3 successes.
The important thing is does she get that they're kind of happy that she fell?
Perhaps a little bit, that they're not seeming distraught over it. Like they're not.
Oh no, she fell. How bad? Oh.
Yeah.
That's such a shame. Man, her career's ruined.
No, you're fine. Is what you guys heard them telling her. It's fine. These things happen. It's not.
In which case, Timothy will just quickly take care of the moguls by just saying perhaps we all should get myself and Lara should get together with you both after the performance then.
Oh, we'd love that. We didn't even realize that Lyra's brother was just so handsome.
Alice rolls her eyes.
William is looking at Alice like he just remembers how she was like fangirling over Sebastian. He's just like nodding. He's just like nodding.
Charles is actually probably laying down next to Lyra, and he's going like, "You'll have to be careful when you're." He's whispering. He's trying to keep it quiet while they're distracted here. He's trying to explain the thing about the fact that Kelgar might not actually be seen by the mortals, so you have to be careful of interacting with these things.
By the way, girls, don't worry. Lyra will be fine. She'll be dancing again before you know it. And she smiles at them as if don't be that cheeky bitches.
Timothy looks at you as if you're ruining his thing, damn it! But yes, perhaps we should all meet up after the performance. I'm sure Lyra could use a pick-me-up with her best friends after all.
We'd love to. And they scurry out of the room to give the space he asked of them.
He'll wave politely at them as in, "Oh yeah, new friends." As she inside him says, "Oh yes, new subjects."
They'll all be bowing before me sooner than later.
Lyra is looking somewhat confused at Charles as she's looking at the wolf, and then what does this look like? How do I recognize the difference?
Yeah. Well, it's not so much that you'll definitely be able to tell the difference. The colors, even if Calgar here, are far more brighter than most, but only us really can see him.
My apologies for the interference by the two girls. By the way, I did request them to bring a drink.
It's quite all right, but may I make an invitation to you both?
Of course. I would be honored.
After the performance and whatever you have to get done, if you'd like a more in-depth explanation of what's going on or details about the gray world that we have access to, my freehold is located in Manhattan, and we'd be more than happy to accommodate you in the meantime until you can get your bearings.
I will definitely, if they feel more comfortable being in Manhattan after their conversation with the Count, then I will direct them to Manhattan's barony.
She nods her head slightly. It was just an offer in case.
If you guys are interested in true leadership, please.
I have these pamphlets that I'd like to have.
When she says that, Shag gets for a fist bump.
Freehold of free hair.
Alice actually, her jaw kind of drops a little bit at that. She looks a little bit taken aback.
But anyway, sorry, Amachan, please continue.
No, he says like freehold of free hair, the bastion of freedom and friendship, as best as it can be.
That was a hard right turn.
He actually, no, you know what he will do? He will smile. And he will just smile ever so politely.
I don't say, smile.
I believe I can speak for my sister when I say we are both honored by your offer. However, in this situation, we would
be happy to see everything.
God damn it. You won't say that because he has subterfuge 4. But he will, actually, the moment she goes to say something, he will just put his hand on Lyra's shoulder. Just let you know. I'll just say, in this instance, you'll have to decline. I am ever so sorry. However, I believe myself and my sister would be more than happy to visit when the opportunity arises. He says, looking at his sister. Yes.
We want that, don't we? Don't we? Of course we do.
William,
I'm really glad I have such huge fall.
William looks at Lyra because like he asked a question to Lyra, so he kind of looks at Lyra about like what her response will be.
Lyra is looking around. That like enthusiastic smile she has on her face is just slowly vanishing into a more polite one.
Max's isn't.
William will look at the Timothy and says, "I completely understand. It will take time to adjust this new world and the new changes. When you feel that you will adjust and see what's going on, please be welcomed. I will be there to greet you."
Yeah, but while your taste buds are still fresh, you got to hit that bacon fast.
Take them to the bacon, Max. Take them out of this green room.
In fact, I think as a way to get ourselves out of this place and to more out of potential crowds, let's go to somewhere with bacon. Let's do that.
Happy's Breakfast Hut has breakfast all the way like 24/7. It's crazy.
I have not been there yet. This is excellent. Please lead the way, Max.
Let's go.
Mr. Harper, sometimes you're going to have to explain to me this phenomenon of why Americans love bacon so much.
Have you had it?
Well, of course I've had it.
According to Timothy, it has some sort of tie to national pride.
Bitch, I'm French and I like bacon.
It is a relatable philosophy.
Charles shoots off a quick text to Lijon. It's like, we're taking them out for dinner to get them a little more acclimated before I take them to the county proper. Makes sense.
Cheyenne looks at Timothy. I'm French and I fucking love bacon.
Cricket.
Silence. Yeah, red cap, loving bacon. How surprising.
So if you'd like to taste national wonders, you should always go for sashimi or some sushi.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
There is a table in the Freehold of Free Air that the food never stops. It's crazy. It's crazy. And Lyra, I think you will love the dragons.
As you guys start stepping out, one moment as I pull this thing up so you can see what walks over to Lyra. One moment. I should have prepared better, but
It's a Nervosa. Everyone's
Of
dead.
course.
of course.
Finally.
Throw seat at it!
First, you hear the sound of like hooves gently along the sidewalk of New York City. Before, where the fuck did I put this picture? 1 second.
My lady.
Really messed up Australia.
One Mississippi. Okay, everyone, go crazy.
Damn it. Hoisted by my own petard.
Oh no!
She said hoist the petard. Everyone at attention.
10 hot. Okay. Could just get my fucking Manicam to work. It'd be fantastic. There we go. This thing.
Holy. Whoa. That's so freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, Max just like points.
Shea starts squeaking.
It's fairly large. Like it is a full-grown stag size creature with large wings that slowly trots directly towards Lyra and bumps Lyra with its nose softly.
Yeah, Lyra will once again give that very over-enthusiastic giggle. I really can't, like, I can't even know. I have it in my head, but I don't know how I can, like, bring it to you guys. It will come at some point. I'll be like, that's it. But yeah, so there's this over enthusiastic giggle as her eyes start to shine, and she'll wrap her arms around its neck. Doesn't know how it's called anymore, but she's just happy to see it again.
Yeah.
The species of creature is Periton. But I don't have a name for it.
No,
it is yours, so you have
Fine,
to name
we'll
it.
get one. We'll get one.
It says, "Good evening, madam. My name is Socranius. It's a pleasure to serve you again, milady."
Just imagine Max narrating for you.
My, it's dreadful out here.
Just a tad nippy for this time of the season. Yes.
It's a quick name. It'll come to me at some point. Don't worry. She'll look actually over to Timothy. You brought him along. Thank you.
I believe she merely followed in my wake.
Well, it seems that we have at least a small bit of reunions this night. Well,
Only in Arcadia.
to bacon, to sushi, to the county and beyond.
And
Under the leadership.
as you guys head out into the night, roll me perception, alertness, sound, hearing.
Yay, my first roll in Changeling. Let's botch this.
Yay, let's do this.
Oh, wow, I actually have a specialty in that. Wow.
What was that roll again?
Perception, alertness, especially hearing will apply.
William
You got it.
sees everything.
Sees everything with his ears.
It's actually Kelgar.
I got 3 successes.
I got one.
All right.
No successes for me.
Those of you who do have successes, hear from the shadow. Not that. This.
No.
I was gonna say, holy shit.
Shut up and listen.
We'll invite him for bacon too.
It's an horse.
Yeah, that's not a good sound.
Can I get a perception plus skinning roll at some point for this?
Down to the skinning.
Perception kenning. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna roll that shit as well.
If 6, 2 successes.
All right.
Oh, 1 success for Shea.
All right. This, Alice, this is a familiar sound. This is the sound you heard at your concert as it wove its way through people's minds. Shea, you feel an uneasy feeling, but your hearing is not a welcome sound. But you can't pinpoint where it's coming from, as it seems to just sort of resonate.
Kelgar had 8 successes. Can Kelgar see this shit where it's coming from?
See,
It's in it's shadow at the moment. So he may snarl at any point that is darkness, which is where it lurks at the moment. But this is an ominous clue of something to come, as opposed to an encounter.
William pulls his sword slowly, chimerical sword. It looks pretty nice actually, and he looks at he looks at Alice.
she just swore in Japanese and glances at him.
You may need to check your streets. You need help?
That depends if I can get. She looks over at Sir Kararis. Sir Kararis, if I may make a request, would you mind asking the Count if it's okay if I take some personal time in Manhattan?
Well, maybe tell the Count that people are maybe in danger and she needs to be here. As William says, like, very, like, yeah.
Nervosa.
Charles takes out his phone. He starts texting. He's like, what's that in the sky? He says over there as he's sort of looking up at the gray clouds and it's like the misty bit of the moon.
Alice actually does look up at the sky. Yeah. Huh?
I believe the words were, your nights are Manhattans.
It's 5:24.
Is it 5:24, Carol? I don't know what time it is.
It's
way late. It's nighttime.
Okay, it's way late now.
Yeah. Okay. I believe your nights are Manhattans, and it's your responsibility there. But I will send notice, and as he hits send.
Yeah,
Happy hunting.
Leon is not an idiot. He's going to allow you to do this. He doesn't want his people to be in danger as well.
But I will escort our friends away from the danger. You take care of the streets.
Alice pulls out a little golden object in her fist and then dashes into a nearby alley. And stopping at the entrance to give a quick curtsy. It was a pleasure to meet you both again. And then makes her way.
A pleasure.
My lord, my lady, Max, let us continue for bacon, sushi, and the county.
All right. And this is where we'll end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And new players, welcome to the venue.